Despite the lack of a major earthquake or other worldwide catastrophe, the seismic shift continues. In the realm of significant steps toward a new world order, be it the one we hope to avoid or a different, better one, the strides are coming faster and leaping longer. Occupy Wall Street is going strong, and signs of spreading are beginning to emerge. The Alabama immigration law has now paved the way for the U.S. Supreme Court to speak for everyone on certain human rights issues. Simultaneously, a two-headed catalyst seeks to fuel the hatred of Islam. First, the recent domestic terrorist who tried to use model planes to attack the Pentagon and the Capitol. And secondly, the pastor in Iran who soon faces execution for refusing to denounce his Christian faith. The largest geomagnetic storm in years hit this week. There have been incidents around the globe involving electrical failures causing hazards, including 2 of the 5 nuclear events that took place this week. The latest, today in South Carolina, was the second one caused by something electrical in the United States. It has caused planes to make emergency landings in South America and one to crash in Asia, and it apparently caused the train crash in China as well. Yesterday, Michio Kaku was on Fox saying that if we had gotten more than just a glancing blow from that CME, all hell would have broken loose. To sum it up, a large enough solar flare in CME absolutely could send us back 200 years. No more water from the tap, no more heat, air conditioning, no more oil in the pumps, no more food on the shelves, no more transit. It's just one of the reasons to be prepared. Those of you who watch MR Too Tough might have heard him reference the connection between solar cycles and war. Please, don't take our word or his word for it. Go look for yourself, it's legit. So what does this have to do with war, the police state, the New World Order? This is our last chance. In perhaps the greatest shift of consciousness since 1969, 2011, 2012 present a world wanting change but yet unwilling to be the change they want to see. Change is not the result of an election or a policy, it begins inside us, and nobody will do it for us. The 2012 following presents our last opportunity to gain consensus among those not considered elite regarding the monetary system, religion, and a host of other issues that leave us vulnerable to evolutionary stagnation and gross inequality. It is our last chance because we may soon find ourselves in a much more obvious form of enslavement. Police states, RFID chips, they will find a way to spin it in the light of protecting freedom and keeping us safe. The people will beg for it. This is our last chance, because we are at the pinnacle of our ability to communicate ideas freely, an ability that will soon be outpaced by its ability to be controlled. Are all men created equal, or are we all unique? Not all men are created equal. This truth should not alter, inhibit, or abridge in any way any human right. These rights are the only equality among people. This truth is discouraged in discourse, yet regularly utilized in society. Our physical, mental, emotional, and social aptitudes are tested constantly and serve to divide us. Tolerance and equality can be powerful tools of peace, but they are often advised where feigningly sought. You have been, and will continue to be judged. Humans are subject to Darwinism. Just as an opposable thumb, upright posture, and highly developed mental capacities were essential to human survival in the past, there are aspects of our lives and of us as individuals that perform Darwinistic purposes today. These serve to divide us and directly affect the future of the human race. Social classification is not important if you subscribe to communism or do not believe in evolution. That is your choice. The preceding truths, understanding our need to move forward on an evolutionary scale, have been recognized in the past, yet so far our history demonstrates that all attempts to align such focus have been misguided, deplorable, and corrupted. Choice and difference are incontrovertibly embraced by the concept of freedom. Freedom is generally a good thing, but some variation is dangerous. Freedom extends only as far as society deems acceptable. Our definition of freedom is necessarily confined by intolerance. Some intolerance is necessary and beneficial. For example, we do not tolerate murder. that is intolerance, but we all recognize the necessity of it. Now, destructive intolerance is most often voiced by those who believe that their God has and has forever had complete control over this world. Often belief is the genesis of hatred. Both peace and suffering begin within. And this is not just one religion that is guilty of this. Forcing one to act in conformity with another's wishes through fear of negative consequences is called terrorism. Do not be threatened by hell. For guidance, see the United States government policy on negotiating with terrorists. You have no reason to be afraid of hell. God has been used as a tool of corruption and perversion. Intolerance, jealousy, greed are insidious, tarnishing even the most revered among us, and are indicative of the agendas of compromised morality, not the teachings of peace and goodness found in the text, which these men of faith proclaim to hold true. People are naturally free, born with no responsibilities other than what instinct guides them to do, feel, and fear. Once upon a time, religion allowed for the curiosity of the animal to be satisfied, the wildness of the animal to be tamed, our fears chilled, and our efforts consolidated. This consolidation was not without benefit. Modern society is a great tribute to human cooperation. However, the genesis of our understanding of how to build a society is also a story of hate and intolerance that has resulted in perversion, murder, persecution, and genocide. Faith can be a glorified ignorance of reality and fact and reason. And without that type of faith, religion amounts to excellent advice about how to live your life and consequently how a society may cohesively rise, but which uses fear to motivate. We owe much of our status on earth to that which controls us, and from that much should be taken forward. But the future may be better served under different pretenses. Now, the truth is dangerous and is easily misinterpreted and misunderstood. Observations and theories that feed a basic notion that humanity is not yet good enough, evolutionary-wise. These have resulted in many of the most unfortunate large-scale human atrocities. The Holocaust, basically any form of genocide. Previous failings in how to pursue such a macro goal of making humanity better do not invalidate the reasons why such campaigns were undertaken. The most apparent problem with the how appears to be the rubric, or the rubric of the rubric of the rubric. One cannot deny the wisdom in concluding that 3 generations of imbeciles is enough. But I cannot claim to know how best to apply such a theory, especially within the bounds of human rights and with any sense of decency. Others in similarly ignorant situations with the means and will to pursue our own evolution are now the enemies of history. The evasion of our own evolutionary stagnation or worse may require walking in and out of a trail blazed by evil men. Folks, I'm sorry if you believed that things were going to end a few days ago. I hope you can see that what we've been trying to tell you is that the shift is just beginning. There's not one moment in time you're going to point to and say that was it. It's not going to be that easy, and nothing's going to do this for us. Just as surely as the Allanin coincidences gave you a good reason to question why all the circumstantial evidence pointed in the opposite direction of the direct evidence which absolutely suggested that the comet was no threat. Just as surely as that was a logical point to be made, this is something that we can't count on a comet or God or anything else to do for us. We have to do it ourselves. And we're just getting started. Be safe.